I'm gonna be making a salmon dish using our nori as a spice topping. In Japanese, it simply means seaweed, and you might recognize it as a wrapping around your sushi or your California rolls. I wanna turn my grill on to a medium-high heat. I'm gonna put my nori on there, and it starts to crackle, and it starts to curl up immediately. I'm gonna get the ingredients for my topping. I love to use my mortar and pestle. I want to start by grinding up my black peppercorns. I don't want to crack them up too fine, because I want a little bit of those nubs and those crunches for texture. Beautiful. I add some sesame seeds. A little bit of paprika. The paprika has a lot of vitamin C, so it's really healthy for you. Also, the color from the paprika is gonna accentuate that nice bright pink from the salmon. Now that this is going, add a little bit of salt, just to bump up all the flavors. And our nori is nice and brittle now, so I can just crack it in my hands, throw it into our mortar and pestle. I love to use my hands. Now I'm just gonna continue to grind this up. The coarseness of the pepper will help to break up the nori and the rest of the sesame seeds. Excellent. I wanna bring my pan up to medium-high heat to finish my topping. Beautiful. 1 shallot, 1 clove of garlic. The kitchen's the only place my wife lets me make noise like this. I keep the root attached, and I do not want the skin. So we're just gonna give it a quick peel. Peel my garlic at the same time, get rid of the dirty work. Nice. All right, that was quick. You wanna get rid of this little root end at the tip of the garlic though. You don't wanna eat that. I wanna really fine dice. Beautiful. It's very simple, it's gonna saute down and support the rest of the flavors in our topping. But we do want it fairly fine. The garlic, again, a rough chop to begin. And I want this really smooth. I'm gonna move this close to me on the cutting board, add a little bit of salt to act as a grit, and puree away. Just using the natural force of the knife. Beautiful. Want a medium heat pepper. The sharper it smells, the hotter the pepper. And for this topping, I want a little bit of the heat, so I'm gonna leave the seeds in. You can smell that. That's gonna be amazing with our salmon and marry beautifully with the nori. Our pan's nice and hot, a little bit of butter. Nice. Just as it's bubbling, we're gonna add these beautiful ingredients. The smells, the garlic, the shallots, melting through that butter. This is heaven on earth. Perfect. All of our mortar and pestle dreams will come true. Give this a little stir. Now, I want to make sure my ingredients aren't burning and that our nori, our obedient ingredient, is toasting up nicely. This is going to go beautifully over our salmon. A little bit extra paprika won't hurt. Hot or cold, this soba noodle dish is near and dear to my heart. And when I add my spicy vinaigrette, it's gonna leave your lips begging for more. I'm making a nori-crusted salmon by encrusting it with my obedient ingredient, nori. And I'm about to finish it up and lighten it with a soba noodle salad with the sesame and soy dressing. Faster than it takes water to boil, I'm gonna make a simple dressing. I want a little bit of soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, vegetable oil, and sesame oil. Roughly 3 parts oil to 1 part acid. To top top it off, I want a little knob of ginger. Cut along the long sides first, so you're doing less cutting. When I get towards the end, this is a little wobbly, just put it down flat. Continue the same. Doop, 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 doop. Half of this is going into here. Half the ginger I'm gonna set aside for later. I'm gonna preheat this pan for a quick vegetable stir fry. Everyone thinks the portobello is the king of the mushroom world. For me, it's the shiitake. It's more robust and has a better flavor. I want to remove the stems, and I can save these stems for later. I can dry them out on a tray over a few days, then I can either grind those up or I can throw them into stalks whenever I need them. I don't need much more than that, so I'll just put these back in here for when I go to make my stock. You can stack these up and do 2 at once. Don't try this with the kids. Okay, so that looks like the perfect amount of shiitakes. Just a couple handfuls. Gonna add a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. Beautiful. Gonna take that leftover ginger I was talking about, just sprinkle it into there to help bring out the flavor. Before I continue with that, little piece of garlic. We want to get all these flavors working together. I want to chop this garlic really fine. Okay. I want to be very gentle with the mushrooms. They're very delicate. They'll start to get a nice brown caramelization on the open faces where the white is. I got this fancy instrument here called a mandolin. And this will essentially make a julienne cut for you, which just means fine strips. And when I'm using a mandolin, I like to use larger carrots because it's a little easier to work with. It's a little bit safer. You want to get this started with your hand first and check that is perfect. Just big enough that you can fit into your mouth. You want to make sure you use the guard so you don't hurt your hands. And when you get down to the end, you can also save this for your stalks. Perfect matchstick threads of carrots. And it'll look fantastic in our salad, mixed with all those noodles. Just give this a quick stir. Just make sure the carrots are getting some love in the bottom of that pan.